What's up, guys? In this video I'll be recapping everything that happened in week 3. So really there wasn't that many interesting games when you look at the lineup we had, but some of the top teams from this week actually were looking a bit shaky. So I'm just going to give my comments down below, and really comment down below in the comment section what you thought about this week, and remember to like and subscribe. So here you can take a quick look at all the games I'll be mentioning and I just thought were notable from this week. And you can see that just from looking, there were a couple games that are like, that score should have been that close, or a surprising outcome. So yeah, I'm going to get further into this, and let's go. The first game we have is Missouri versus Kansas State. So I thought Kansas State was just going to come into Missouri and do their business, bump up their record and maybe go up into the new AP poll. Well, they're the exact opposite of that. They lost to Missouri 30-27 off a walk-off 61-yard field goal. That's impressive even in the NFL. 61 yards is insane. Anyway, Kansas State is not as good as everyone thought. They weren't overhyped, but they're definitely not top 15, and a lot of people still thought they'd be a solid team. They're okay. I guess they'll be probably more of low 20s team is what I'd say. And Missouri, if they can play with the same heart they had today, then they actually might do something for once, and they might make a bowl game. So I have Florida State versus Boston College. So this is the first conference game in the ACC for Florida State and Boston College, and I thought Florida State would honestly take care of business, and win by 30, because that's what they looked like the first two games. They beat LSU by 20 and then Southern Miss by 40 something, and they really didn't show much weakness. They looked pretty unstoppable, but here they did show some weaknesses and little holes on their team. And Jordan Travis got hurt, and there was a fumble that ended up being a scoop and score that brought Boston College back in the game, because Florida State was winning 24-10, and they just stopped Boston College in the red zone and on fourth down, because Boston College didn't have any trust in their kicker. But then they just coughed it up and gave a free touchdown. Boston College got back in the game. So this was way closer than it should have been. And I honestly think that they maybe should just lower Florida State down a rank or two, because they definitely didn't play like the number 3 team. North Carolina versus Minnesota was another game to see how the conferences match up against each other. Of course, Minnesota isn't really even one of the good Big Ten teams, and they were going up against probably top 4 ACC team Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and then North Carolina. Those are the top 4, I'd say. Anyway, North Carolina took care of business, 36-14. They looked good, and Drake May looked fine. They keep rolling. They actually didn't have one of the easiest schedules in out of conference schedules from most teams. So props to them, and they've they've won all of them, and that's good, and they're a solid team. In Minnesota, I actually thought they were going to be good this year, because I actually had them ranked 25 in my top 25, but yeah, it didn't turn out how I expected them to be. But yeah, overall, it was nice to see again how these two teams match up against each other, and we could kind of compare other teams. So Alabama at South Florida was actually a cause for concern for Alabama, because they have played 3 quarterbacks in this season. Jalen Milroe hasn't looked very good. Then they put Tyler Buckner in. He did nothing. He didn't do anything. And Ty Simpson was a bit better than Buckner, but he still didn't do anything. Nick Saban has a QB battle on his hands, but none of them so far have looked good. They were very underwhelming. They needed like a late pick to seal this game, 17-3. Defense played good, giving up only 3 to South Florida, but offense straight up scored 17 points. Alabama looks like they're falling out of the elites. They're not keeping up with these other teams. Like, that's like a good example right now would be Ohio State, because they had a QB battle. But when you look at them, like, if you put Devin Brown in, he still could kind of run the offense, and they'd be okay. But when you look at Tyler Buckner, Ty Simpson, and even Jalen Milroe, when they play a team that's not like who they play in week 1, where they can just score 55 points, where every team can do that, that's a Power 5, they're actually having trouble. But Ohio State was able to fill, like, after a couple weeks, you could see Kyle McCord's now, like, he looks solid to me. And looking at Alabama, it's not solid. And I think Alabama might lose 3 to 4 games, because so far they've been looking really bad, and Alabama fans need to be concerned. Next is the Georgia versus South Carolina game. So Georgia is the number 1 team, and they were actually on upset watch for the first half, because they were down 14-3, but they were able to rally and ended up shutting them out in the second half and winning 24-14. So, we've already seen the trend, and number 3 and number 10 and number 1 all underperformed this week, and they shouldn't be underperforming, because none of these were really good teams. Like Boston College and South Carolina are both average. USF is, I'm pretty sure they're Big 12 now, but still, they're not like any elite teams, and they shouldn't be struggling like this. And honestly, Georgia looked great the first 2 games, but then they showed weaknesses there, and it reminded me a lot of the Missouri game. I'm not going to take too much from this though, because it might have just been an off day, they didn't really show up, but just saying, it shows that Georgia is beatable and that they can make mistakes, and from the weeks coming forward, I think people will take a look and see what South Carolina did and try to implement that when they play Georgia, so they could have the same success. So now it's Duke and Northwestern. So actually Duke played the first couple of games of the season are difficult. Of course, they beat Clemson, which is a good team. They're not like elite really, but still a good team. And they play Northwestern, which is a Big Ten opponent. Of course, it's like the worst Big Ten team. Maybe Nebraska's worse, I don't know. But still, at least you're not playing like some FCS school. Score was 38-14. They won by how much they should win, because Northwestern is not a good school. It's like a Vanderbilt, the Northwesterns, those type of teams, like Kansas usually. Those are the type of teams I'm talking about. But yeah, Duke I think is going to be a solid 9-win team. Like, they keep rolling. I guess put them top 20 after this win. And actually they're not just a basketball school now, because they're actually looking solid, and I think they'll be getting a good bowl game. Like, not New Year's 6 caliber, but I'm talking like Alamo Bowl level, some Cheez-It Bowl, somewhere around there. Washington came into Sparty Stadium and straight up destroyed them, 41-7. I know, like, Michigan State lost a bunch of transfers, like Cam Coleman and Peyton Thorne, quarterback and wide receiver. So we were able to recover because they left so late, like in the last transfer portal windows, and just they couldn't recover. So of course they want to have a down year, but still Michigan State's better than they're a Big Ten team, and they're better than playing like a Group of 5 team, and they just killed them 41-7. And I think Washington is honestly like a top 6 team from what I just saw, because they're getting better every week, and they're just winning by so much. Like Michael Penix might be my Heisman front runner because he like threw for 4 touchdowns, 400 plus yards. He's just looking great, and I think this Washington team will definitely be a threat, and they might be a playoff team this year from what I see. It seems like Tennessee is always struggling against like Florida. They just lost to them 29-16 in the Swamp, and Tennessee was ranked 11. I really thought that Tennessee would just breeze through because Florida was not looking really good, but they just straight up did not execute, and they did not look good. Like in the second half, they started inching towards Florida, but it was at such a slow pace that it didn't even matter because the Tennessee defense surprisingly shut down Florida's offense, but then the Tennessee offense did nothing. So it was actually the opposite of usual. And really, Tennessee did get a bit overhyped this year again because I knew they wouldn't be as good as last year because of the talent they lost, like Jalen Hyatt and Hendon Hooker. And I knew just the firepower wouldn't be the same, but I do think they're still going to hang around the number 15 ranking. And Florida came to play today, but there'll be some games that they shouldn't lose that they're going to lose because that's just what they have been doing for the past couple of years. Last but not least, I have Colorado versus Colorado State. So there was a lot of hype going into this game, and it was more than it should have been. And there was Deion Sanders was kind of trying to make something out of nothing, I think, because he said he was getting disrespected by the opposing head coach, even though the opposing head coach said there are people that judge Colorado, but I'm not one of them. That's literally a quote from what he said, and I just thought Sanders was just making something out of nothing to hype his players up. And the game went on, and it was a good game. It went to double overtime. Colorado ended up winning 43-35, but Colorado should not have won that game. They got lucky, and we finally see a game. We finally see it whoa, Colorado is I know TCU was a close game as well, but nobody expected them to win. But everyone was expecting Colorado to win, and when they didn't, when it was actually close, some people were getting surprised, and Colorado fans were real quiet in the first half when they were losing, but it just showed some stuff. And I think it's going to be like that again when USC comes into town, and I think USC is just going to beat them by 17, 20 points, and then the hype's going to die down. But yeah, Colorado State played a good game. Colorado got out of there alive when I don't think they should have gotten out there and survived. But yeah, it was a good overall game, and it kind of gave a new meaning to this rivalry because before I really didn't watch it because I didn't think of, oh, this is a good game to watch. But now it's a whole new thing.